Excellent. Good morning. So thank you for being here. And I know that the reason why you're here is because you are wanting to make your life really exciting, really meaningful, and probably have not found yet 100% clarity without any doubt what your life purpose is. And or you just want to have a confirmation to have more energy with regard to your clarity, etc. So today's questions are like, how do I determine my life purpose? Or how do I find my life purpose? What am I here for? And what does life want from me? And what is my most authentic contribution in this life? And maybe also, why are only so few people really tapping into their life purpose and living their purpose? So these are all the questions that we are looking at today. And I remember back then when those questions were pressing and hard for me. So that was basically the time back then, when I early in my life I felt trapped. I felt that I had no direction. When I got up in the morning, I was living a life of my parents, of work, of the normal things what we do. And I was asking myself every single day, what is it? What is it really that I would love to live my life for? And once I found that clarity, and I'm going to introduce you to processes today in the webinar that helped me to find that. So once I found that clarity, then I had direction. Suddenly the law of providence was working on my side. The law of attraction gave me um, the right impulses and sent me the signals. My destiny took on its own wonderful momentum, and this clarity I'm sharing still today with the world, and it became my work, it became everything what you know about me, and maybe experience the first time today if you're on this webinar new. So, yeah, here we have the screen in big. I'm also learning as we go along here. So when we say about life purpose, what does it mean to live your life purpose? Well, certainly it means that you are in peace with your life. No matter whether you're up or whether you're down, you're just in peace. You trust. You trust that what's happening is in alignment with a journey that often is not very, very clear for the mind, but it's very, very clear from the bigger picture of who you are if you include the perspective of the bigger you, the soul, and all the aspects that are beyond the limited perspectives of the ego. You don't doubt your destination. You don't doubt what you stand for. You are seeing obstacles not as pit holes to be avoided, but stepping stones where you can learn and where you can grow and where you can go for the next step. You don't manipulate your life. You try to go into the flow. You seek where's the energy going. And therefore it becomes a dance. It becomes a beautiful journey that often is only experienced and discovered in hindsight. Often in my life, things took a curve and I just instinctively felt I need to go here. This is the right way. And here's the energy. And only later I could explain to my mind what it was all about. So often we don't need the clarity in the head. We need the clarity in the heart. And that comes once you have clarified your purpose. Then your heart knows where to go. Then it's like a compass what you can trust. And courage is also something you can expect when you have your life purpose. Courage and perseverance, you are unstoppable. Nothing can ever throw you off track such that you are not any longer knowing where to go. That's great. So I wish for you that you already have found it, or that today this will be a stepping stone, a great support. So that you can expect from today clarity, or a good step forward into creating the clarity that allows you to sense your life purpose and what it's all about. So I hope you're fully committed, and I hope you're with me in order to have this 1 hour coming up now be really, really inspiring for you. So what am I here for on planet Earth? Well, biologically, in your body, it's already decided. You have a built-in system of instincts that make your day already purposeful with regard to your survival, with regard to what is needed so that your physical existence here on planet Earth is safe, is secured. We all got 3 basic instincts, kind of cellular in our body. And from the morning to the evening, throughout the night, those 3 instincts are motivating us to make them happy. So if anything happens that is against one of those instincts, they will cause thoughts and emotions that will make you react so that your survival is secured. And these 3 instincts are survival, belonging, and contentment. If one of the 3 is not happy, you will experience motives and impulses that make you act such that the instinct again is calm and can settle down. I'm sharing that with you because most people are busy 24/7. They run after the impulses of the instincts in order to make them calm and happy. Why? Because those instincts are reacting on perception. So most of us live, fortunately, in a world where our survival is safe. However, if your perception, your imagination is going ahead of you, and you simply have doubt or worry about the future and whether you're going to be well, whether your health is going to be well, and all the rest of it, whether your job is secured, then this already is enough to make the instant fire, and then you are in survival mode. Same with belonging, and same with contentment. So I'm not going to go much deeper into that because that's not the purpose of today's webinar. I just want to share it with you that most people are not having even the luxury in business, in reality, to ask the question, what is my life purpose? Because they are so busy surviving. And our system, our society is a setup which keeps us consistently in the wheel. And therefore, only when things calm down on a beautiful holiday or when you take a real break, then you can ask the higher questions, what's my life purpose? Yeah? So just keep that in mind, that these instincts are powerful, and we may have another webinar on those in a separate context. So let's say the instincts are happy, and now we ask the question, what's my life purpose? Well, I give you 3 perspectives. And remember, a perspective is not the truth. It is a way to look, and only if you choose to make it the truth, it becomes the truth. But when I share it with you, it's simply a perspective. And I chose 3 that could go into resonance with you. And you just see what happens when you hear them. So the first perspective is, and I also see there's a board. Yeah. No, it's not yet. Sorry, that was too early. A little bit of help here. Okay, so the first perspective is also not that slide. Okay, doesn't matter. Just listen to what I have to say. The screen is not at the moment important. Consider that the world is a school class. You know, there's grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4, etc., etc. And just imagine that your incarnation is like going into grade 3 or grade 4, whatever you choose. And the world is a setup, is a combination of circumstances that is like a curriculum that is presented to us in order to learn particular lessons. So you come in and you go out. And if you have learned your lessons and you graduated well in this incarnation, then next time, if you consider that it's an ongoing curriculum, so incarnations are one of the incarnations, it's just a perspective. But if you consider that, then it's all about learning the lessons in this particular classroom. So what are those lessons? Well, the challenges that are presented to you in this world, to live in a world where there are wars, where there's ecological, financial insecurities, etc. Maybe it's all on purpose. Maybe it's not wrong. Maybe it is that setup what gives us the environment in which we can learn important lessons. I don't know if you ever considered that this way, but it might be for somebody like, yeah, maybe it's not about changing the world. Maybe it's about learning the lessons. This particular setup, including my own life and my circumstances with my parents and all of what's going on, is there to learn. That's one perspective. Another perspective is that your soul has already decided what it wants to experience in this lifetime. Now, when I use the word soul, what I mean by that is the bigger background of who you are. See, we are conditioned to perceive ourselves through our conditioned ego. Unfortunately, but that's the case, our conditioning has worked and works. So what we are not aware of is the big you outside of the box perception, self-image called ego. So the soul is becoming an experience the moment we manage to leave our box and fall back into the already existing big you that is always there. However, when we are in our box, we are not experiencing it because the box is all we have. So I'd like you just to be generous and consider that there is this massive, wonderful you. We also can call it soul. And this soul is a very curious being. It wants to expand. It wants to grow. It's like a curious kitten and eager to experience physical sensations, emotional sensations, mental sensations, spiritual sensations. Like all kinds of things on the physical level. Your soul might be excited to experience pleasure and pain as well. The ego doesn't like pain for the obvious reasons, but the soul might be very interested in that. How does that feel? How does it feel to be that? How does it feel to be that? And also on the emotional body, from bliss to sorrow, from boredom, fear, excitement to love and connectedness. The soul might want to experience how it does feel to be lonely. If you ask yourself, why don't you find a partner? Or why are you always ending up sooner or later being alone again? Maybe for the soul it's very important that you experience loneliness. Maybe that's what the soul signed up for. Maybe that's why you incarnated. And out of that, a magnificent experience and flower is waiting to come into the light and to shine. We don't know what those experiences we usually try to avoid really have as a gem inside if we only would allow for it. So your soul might be very interested in those emotional experiences, also mental sensations. It's exciting to find out how it feels to be right or confused or green, not agreeing, and all these intellectual mental things. It's very exciting to experience that. And spiritually as well. We have spiritual sensations like expansion, bliss, and transcendence. So maybe your soul is just incarnating and your life purpose is to experience those sensations fully, without resistance. How about that as a perspective? Remember, perspective is not the truth, just a perspective. So how about that as a perspective? Just imagine that there's no other purpose than just feeling what you're feeling, 100%. Giving up all resistance and participating 100% in whatever there is. So you don't have to change anything. You don't have to manipulate yourself. If you're bored, you're bored. If you're happy, you're happy. If you're anxious, you're anxious. If you worry, you worry. And maybe it's all about allowing that 100%. I don't know if you can imagine that. You know what? It's easy 100% when it's positive. Like happy, happy. Nobody is is going into resistance to that. Mhm. But usually the other side is a little bit more difficult to really allow for. And that might be a great experience. And maybe some of you also ask, why do I have this body? You know, there are particular spiritual perspectives, even religious perspectives, where it's kind of a mistake God made with regard to giving us a body. You know, we go into resistance, we go into neglect, we try to be free from our body, but evolution has made a mistake, or God has made a mistake, but only through the body we can experience, we can have human experience. And maybe that's exactly the purpose of life. I'm not indicating that it is, I'm just sharing perspectives. So the third perspective is that life maybe is their platform, a stage on which you can create, to experience creation, to experience the power to create. I mean, that's extraordinary if you just take a fresh look at it. I mean, how extraordinary it is. We have that power. And most of us are busy reacting 24/7. Remember the three instincts and what they demand of us, and we go into reaction, 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 reaction. And at the end of the day, we are not experiencing fulfillment. Why? Because we haven't created. Creation is something that is free from reaction. It's something that comes from what is it you are inspired? What is it your heart feels like? What is it if you would totally free? What would you create? You know, we come to that questions in a moment. And in the book Moses 1:27, it says, God created man in his own image. God created man in his own image. Now, God is a creator, and having created man in his own image cannot but mean that we are creators as well. And realizing and accepting that might really make the penny drop and leave you free to not look for your life purpose, but to start creating. And then the question is, what is it you want to create? Sure, no, but maybe that's your life purpose. And maybe there are even other perspectives. So at the end of the day, what you are left with are different perspectives. And then it's up to you what you choose. What you choose as your life purpose. And maybe it all comes down to just that simple, however so profound, one act to make a choice. By conditioning, we are all victims and we wait for something to be given to us. You know? We wait for God giving us the right vision or even appearing in front of us himself, so to speak, and giving us a guarantee certificate that this is now your purpose. And your mind still wouldn't buy into it. It would probably ask, where's the ID? You know, because something in the ego is never, ever, ever 100% secure. It always feels insecure, you know, because it's an artificial construct in the first place. What we didn't invent, but by the way education works, it appears, and then we are living in something that doesn't feel safe about itself. That's why we are always doubting by default. And only choice, the willingness to take responsibility for choosing and then being loyal to your choice, may create that security and that confidence and that safety that you are looking for, from which there then you will give yourself permission to act and to create and to live your chosen life purpose. So I want to invite you to do a little exercise. You have been asked to bring a pen and a paper, and I'm going to lead you through that exercise. And all questions that may have arisen so far out of what I was sharing, we have in half an hour or so a time slot where we can ask questions. So at the moment, here's an exercise for you to do. What I want you to do now is just to take a deep breath, and you can do that with closed eyes first, and then you can also open your eyes again, and I will tell you when. So I suggest you just close your eyes, and you become fully present in this moment. Just feel your body. Relax your breath. Just recognize you are. And now I want you to imagine that you flush your mind. As you sit on the toilet, just imagine you flush your mind and all the thoughts and all the emotions that are there are just disappearing. And you are enjoying an imagined emptiness. No, it doesn't need to be real, just imagine it. Imagine. Now in that emptiness, the question starts to approach. The question that approaches you is, what purpose you choose your life shall have? What purpose you choose your life shall have? If you want to, and it helps you without losing your relaxation, you also can see the question on the screen. So do not go into an intellectual discussion now in your head. Rather close your eyes again, flush, empty, beautiful, question. And then just see what happens, what occurs. See, your life purpose must come from the background into the foreground. It is not a result of thinking. So relax, flush. You can do that many times. It always works, and you need to repeat it maybe. Relax, flush, empty. What purpose you choose shall have. Notice what comes up, and then write it down. Notice what comes up, occurs, write it down. I'm going to give you 2 minutes now to do that for yourself. Remember to not engage in an intellectual discussion in your head. You won't get your life purpose from there. It comes from the bigger you. For this process is designed. Relax, flush, and fire the question. Recognize what comes up, write it down. Repeat the process. 2 minutes. Okay, the last 30 seconds, use the time. Okay, now finish what you're doing. I'm back in the here and now. Just acknowledge yourself. Now you are in one of the three categories. Yeah, we got three categories here. You also see them coming up on the screen in a moment. First category is you are clear what your purpose is. Second category is nothing showed up when you put the question to yourself. And the third category is, as you can see on the screen, something showed up, but you are in doubt or in resistance to it. Now, if you belong to category one, awesomeness, great, congratulations. You are created in the image of God. You got creation as a power. You have support. Go out there, create, express yourself, and have a happy life. Category two, well, nothing showed up after you ask yourself the question. Okay, so maybe it's like a little bit of a thick ice there between your intellect, your mind, your ego, and the bigger wisdom of the view of your soul. And that means you need a little bit more exercising this little procedure that I shared with you. When you have time tonight or after the seminar or tomorrow, whenever you want, just the same process. Position, no distractions, relax, close your eyes, flush your mind, just imagine that you're empty, you don't need to do it. Just imagine it and then let the question hit you. And then notice what comes up. Could take a while. And category three, well, something showed up, but you are in doubt or in resistance. This is the popular category of all the procrastinators in this world. These are the ones, as already mentioned, who are waiting for a guarantee certificate signed and stamped by God Himself. And when the angel comes to deliver it, then those people are still asking for an ID. And so for you to know that ego means doubt all the time. There is no end to the doubt. Once you are confident with something, that they later or in half a year are still asking that question. I hope you recognize what I'm talking about. That's how the mind works for all of us. There's no exception. Yes, you can be very stubborn and very convinced, and you can have a lot of perseverance. But Stephen Covey, many years ago, he had such a beautiful example. He said, okay, so you are clear about your vision, you are managing your success, you're climbing the ladder, and you are achieving being on the roof of the desired house. But now you look around, and you discover, oh my God, it's the wrong house. But then half-life is over. That's what's called entering midlife crisis, which is an opportunity for reevaluating what your life is about. But why wait for midlife crisis until you really ask the question, what is the purpose of your life, or what do you want to make the purpose of your life about? You can do it now. So no matter where you are in your life, no matter what age you are in, this process, this question is never too late and never too early. It's just right to do it. So when you are in that state, that something showed up, but you are in doubt, know that maybe it's a matter of choosing. And to make this easier for you, I tell you that life already has sent you, ever since the beginning of your life, clues. You just didn't recognize those or misinterpreted them. Life did send you clues, and a couple of clues I want to share with you. Maybe you can reconnect with that, and then it's easier and confirms what may have showed up if you are in category 3. And of course, everybody else is invited as well. So the first clue is always when your life suddenly went into a flow, Flow. When you are experiencing flow, then you are in alignment with your purpose, conscious and unconscious, doesn't matter. The flow means zero resistance. Suddenly, it's not the experience that you need to motivate yourself to do something. So that separation with action and you, therefore you need to motivate yourself to get up in the morning, you need to motivate yourself to do what you are doing at the job for the money at the end of the month, etc., etc. No, flow is in the absence of that, there's no separation. You're just in action, and it's almost like there isn't any you doing, which in fact is true. What's happening is the action, and you're greater than just that. You're just participating. So take a moment now and go back in your memory without much effort. Just let it happen. Go back in your memory and scroll back in your life and notice the moments when you were in flow, even if it was just for a minute. Hopefully longer. Just recognize. And once you get such a moment and travel a little bit further back or forward as you like, and look out for other moments of flow. So when you are in flow, then that's a hint. There's a postcard from existence sent to you. Hey, yeah, here we are with your purpose. It might not have been fully conscious to you. But maybe it makes more sense now when you remember. So that's one set of clues that you can work with. Also, when you experience true love, not the love that the ego is having when it gets what it wants. You know, the ego is easily say, I love you as long as the ego gets what it wants. You know, but when the ego doesn't get what it wants, I love you doesn't come across the lips anymore. Right? Then it's I hate you. Now that's the polarity. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about true love, where you're just in the state of gratitude and you don't need to have any reason, and it's beautiful, it's expanding, maybe even combined with tears coming down your cheeks, that kind of love. Definitely, life purpose is right there. There's something happening there. That's a clue. It's like, hey, here we are. If you have those moments, then that's a key. I hope you can find many in your life. Maybe just one, good enough. And the clue number 3 I selected is one everyone can connect to. Now that's a good news. If there's a flow in the love that wasn't still not really going into resonance with you, with this clue now, you're gonna definitely hit the womb of your life purpose. Excited enough? So listen up, don't miss that one. It is your greatest mental, emotional pain. It is your greatest mental, emotional pain. Not physical pain. Not talking about that. Mental, emotional pain. When that happened, it was probably before you were 10 years old. Most likely. There was an experience of intense emotional pain. You may have been abandoned, misunderstood, judged wrongly, compared, forgotten, abused. Remember, not the physical pain we're talking about, emotional pain. What I propose to you is the perspective that this pain, your greatest pain, at the same time is your life purpose. And the life purpose is what? Engaging in self-creation with regard to healing your pain, whatever that means. And you're not only healing your pain, you heal the pain. You make it impersonal. Your pain of having been rejected or having been denied unconditional love. Then you heal the world's denial for unconditional love. That's your life purpose. You step in when your pain was being judged in an unfair way, when justice might be, or betrayal, there might be your pain. And then you go and you not only heal your own wound of injustice, but you do that in the world. You help others. It becomes your mission. And because it was your greatest pain in the earliest stage of your life, you never run out of energy. You're most authentic in engaging that. This is who, in this lifetime, you have been selected to be. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. It happened for a reason. And if you can sense the opportunity here, then you get such a great key in order to now suddenly recognize your life. Because this pain, this wound never closes, if you recognize that. You can distract yourself, you can go into denial, you can do all kinds of things. You can understand it better, you can improve your relationship to it. Absolutely. That's the purpose of therapy or transformational programs, sure, 100%. But the pain itself, yeah, has been, and it's part of who you are as a human being in this incarnation. And if you take that as a perspective, as an opportunity to extract from there your mission, and maybe you were sent by existence, by your soul, by God, whatever you want to call it. You were sent into this incarnation to do this job, to contribute to the healing of fill in the blank. But you wouldn't recognize it if it would not have been made personal to you. That personalization was what's happened and caused you so much pain. That made it very personal to you. Now it's in your emotional body. Now it's in your mental body. And now you have the power to heal it. If you say yes to it, if you accept it, and if you come from there, and in healing yourself, you heal others. In healing others, you heal yourself because there is no separation. It's all working as one. So that's also great healing. For me personally, my greatest pain happened of an experience I had when I was 11 and a half years old. When I was 11 and a half years old, I had an experience unexpectedly of complete oneness. Call it a divine experience, a revelation, or whatever it was. I wasn't asking for it, it just was present. And I knew in this moment, this is life. I didn't want anything else anymore. I had no questions, nothing. I was fully present. I was in life, loved everything with it. But then it faded away. And for years it didn't come back. But the impression was so strong that everything after that experience was not it. So I lived in a complete absence, in a state of pain, not being back in that experience, not being back in God or whatever you want to call it. And that caused so much pain in me that by 16 I even didn't want to live any longer. So then I got support by a great teacher back then. Those of you who have read Cynthia and I already know what I'm talking about. And in that process, I decided to make my life purpose, to find the way back home, back into that experience again. And this is what I share ever since as my life, as the work I do. So I made exactly that what I'm sharing with you, my life's mission. So what is your greatest pain? And maybe it was so painful that you managed over decades to really forget it, So maybe it's not right now accessible to you, but maybe you can sense it. Then it might be a motivation now to open up to it, to find your way back to that greatest pain. And I'm not talking about being a victim and falling into all the rest of it. No, I'm not talking about the story about the pain. I'm talking about the pain itself. To use that. And if you contextify it, making it your mission to heal, that pain changes from that into gold. It becomes your authentic self-expression. It becomes the heart that never closes. It becomes the youth that never gets old. It becomes the inspiration that reaches millions, or just 10, doesn't matter. You know, all that what you're looking for comes from there. So still not enough clues? Well, before we come to the questions, here, a couple of more clues just like that. So you have something to process if you want to. First is, if you're not loving what you're doing, it's not your purpose. So just notice. If you don't love what you're doing, not your purpose, keep looking. What would get you out in the morning, out of bed? I mean, what would get you out of bed in the morning without an alarm clock? Like really, every day. No more, oh my God, I want to sleep half an hour longer. No. Just imagine you have an exciting life. How could you have that attitude? It's insane. Nobody who has something exciting, like really exciting ahead of the day, is like, oh, just let me go. No, it's like, can't wait. Let me get up. It's so exciting. Where's that? Insane? No, absolutely not. Absolutely. That's why they get up in the monasteries at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, but then it's a routine. You know, the monks there are like, you know, that's not the real deal. But, you know, they know that there's something that could get a person out of bed way long before the alarm clock. And looking for that one is also a good idea. The question, what purpose would you take a bullet for? A bullet. Like, what purpose would you stand for that you were willing to take a bullet for? Powerful question. Do you think you got your life purpose? Great. Are you going to take a bullet for that one? Or is your spacesuit more important for you? I mean, body, for those who don't know my language. If your spacesuit is more important for you, then your instinct number one, survival, has kicked in. Yeah? Then instinct survival is still more important as a life purpose. Well, that's a good benchmark. Just, you know, test yourself. What degree? See, Jesus had a life purpose very clearly. So had Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and all those popular examples, John Lennon, etc. But they did not compromise or betray their life purpose. No? A pity when you have to take a bullet, of course, but I believe to die in that moment, to not having betrayed your life purpose, is a state in which it's worth, you know, transiting to the next stage, so to speak, rather than, you know, trying to squeeze out a couple of more years in the state of that you betrayed yourself. It's also a very, very interesting subject. And the last one always works great. The last clue always works great. Just imagine you got all the money in the world. Imagine that you can live from the interest and you have so much that you can't even spend it. So no more worries about anything in your life. Then what would you use your life for? What will you do then? Just watch the ego then once gone over a tour and dance classes and all the rest of it. Okay, tick, 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 tick. You got all that, including the whole sports car that is necessary for you. But then what? Now, after you got all that covered, well, then what? What is it you want to get up for in the morning? Yeah? So the three instincts are all satisfied. Yeah? Survival, belonging, and contentment. So now what? Over to you. Also good perspective. At the end of the day, what you will find is when you got your life purpose, there is one common denominator. No matter what it is you are choosing to do, if it's your life purpose, no matter what your mission of healing is, it is always having one characteristic. Whether a person in Asia is finding the life purpose, or in America, or in Europe, race, different social status, doesn't matter. It is having the characteristic you're on a mission to make a difference. That experience of you spending your life making a difference, it doesn't need to be the millions. The quantity here is not of interest. It is just the context that you are living on a mission to make a difference. And when you have that, your level of happiness, your level of power, your level of energy, your level of health, because once you got a purpose, then life supports you to be that purpose. It doesn't want you now to be taken off with some stuff here and some stuff there. No. It supports you. It gives you a lot of wonderful things in order to support you to make the difference, to be an authentic expression of life. That's what we're here for. So I hope that inspired you, and at best it opened up new boxes for you to look and to go after that, so that your life can turn around from being in reaction to being in creation. But creation must always be connected to the heart, to the soul, to the life purpose. We got super successful people out there. They created a lot, absolutely. Then they do suicide. Yeah? Or they go into a not the case condition in the mind. I'm not talking about creation just measured on success. No, I'm talking about that creation that is connected with your heart and the life that is in your soul. And we're talking about making a difference, and then we're talking about happiness. All right. So now time for questions. I'm sure you have some. And I'm going to read your questions in the box. So you need to type them in because we don't have the system here with microphones, etc., etc. So just in the chat box, write in your question, and then I pick it up from there and respond. You take your time. That's a good question. What if I feel I have several purposes in life and can't choose? Oh, sorry, I lost it because another question. And can't choose which one is the best for me to follow. When you say can't choose, what makes you say, or what makes you experience that you cannot choose? Well, the truth is, you can choose. You do have the power of choosing. And if you're not really sure about that, then either you have not done Master One or you missed it in the story business when I demonstrate the power of choosing. Anyway, so what is it that makes you not choose? Or you wouldn't trust your choice, that you are doubtful with regard to your choice. Then still, you're coming from a perspective to compare different ego benefits. Yeah? And this is not really leading you to clarity. How about trying an approach of elimination? That means from those options you have, what you think are your life purposes, when you talk plural here, yeah? Which one is the one you would take a bullet for? All of them? Maybe not. Right? Probably there is one that stands out, what is most authentic, most true. And then the magic starts with being able to close the other, to make those options go away so that you have one. And then see what happens. The choosing of one and the letting go of other options is one of the greatest maximizers of your energy that you possibly can employ. As long as you have the back doors open and secondary protocols and you have the option to exit, it's not really powerful. All the great people we know of, they demonstrated their great life purpose. They all had one thing they stood for, they chose it, and that was it. And in a year or tomorrow, you might choose something different. It's not like you have to lock yourself into a prison of choice for the rest of your life. But today you choose it. Yeah, 100%. And see what happens. I mean, if you're fully in ecstasy and alive and all the rest of it, then you will choose it tomorrow again, I'm sure. If not, then it probably wasn't really all authentically about. Got it? Okay. Next question. Oh, there are many questions now. All right. Let me make this tricky. Give me a moment to just scroll through the questions to select the next one. Okay, I find that the purpose seems too broad. How do I then establish what the action is to fulfill this purpose? Well, if the purpose is too broad, then you need to spend a little bit time on finding out what is your personal color, what is your personal shade, what is your personal contribution to that, right? So the broadest purpose is like making the world a better place. Probably all of us on this call, more or less, are on that mission anyway. Now, why would we otherwise be on that call? So making the world a better place. Of course, there is no action then coming from that, right? Because the question is, okay, what is your contribution to that? What is it that life chose you and your existence and your past and everything that happened to you and what is in your life is all there to make you a unique expression of life, and you need to allow to recognize that and to serve that. For that, you need to return to the questions flow, pain, etc., so that you can see. It's all very individual then. Yeah? Jesus was very different teaching from Buddha, different from Muhammad, etc., etc. So those teachers have had different styles, but they all were on one and the same mission to bring people back to God. So you need to find that. A little bit of work to do there, and I'm sure it's not too difficult. Next question. Bear with me. Sometimes the oxygen just jumps. Losing the just breath. Yeah, that's a question often asked. Okay, what if having children is not your life purpose? I think many people like me feel it is. Or is it social pressure? Is it biological? Can you verify this more? See, you need to answer that question. You, and nobody else. You. Mhm. First of all, ask the question, what is it that the fact you parent and a child or children What is it in a bigger context? What is it for? Is it for just securing the species and you contribute? That there's another spacesuit for soul that has incarnated and our human species is moving on? Probably not. No? So what is it then? What was your motivation? What is your motivation? What is your context and interaction? Who do you become? Who do you are willing to become with regard in the context of relating to your child? And maybe that right there is your life purpose, or is an opportunity to choose this format, parenting, to be your vehicle of expressing your life purpose. You can transform the world, or you can transform your child. Yeah? Maybe that's not so different. It's just a different quantity aspect. So who are you? What's the context? What is it really about? What is it you take a bullet for? Of course, every parent takes a bullet for their children. But yeah, what I mean is from a deeper sense of what is it I provide for my child for? Was security and all the rest of it, but every parent in this world does. And you don't need a children's license in order to become a parent in this world. But producing spacesuits is something everybody can do, so that's not an achievement. It's about parenting. It's about the sacred space of life has given you a life form called child in complete trust. And now you are trusted 100% by default. Every baby is 100% trusting the parents. It cannot be any other. What are you going to do with that opportunity? So that might be the direction to go. Some other questions here? I like that one. I know what my purpose is, but in daily life, sometimes I forget about it. What can I do to stay tuned in every day? Come on. Yeah. I know what my purpose is, but in daily life. That means you don't know. Very clearly. There is no separation between your purpose and daily life. Your purpose is your daily life. But your daily life is not necessarily your purpose. Okay? So if you don't love what you do, it's not your purpose. I've said it already, I repeat it for you. If you don't love what you do, love, not for the check and the money at the end of the month, not for the applause, not for the recognition, not because your parents suddenly are proud of you. No. Yeah. If you don't love it, love the action of it. So purpose is one. Purpose is daily life. There is no separation. Hope that helps. Living my life purpose is a brilliant thing and opportunity, but it is also a certain sacrifice. What is your opinion on that? All right, let's talk about sacrifice. Do you know what the difference between sacrifice and surrender is? The one is painful, the other is not. Sacrifice is never really that what the angels would applaud for. Sacrifice is something what the ego has as an image that it needs to do in order to be in a pleasing context by God. Surrender is not painful. Surrender is sweet. Surrender is a letting go of constraints and resistance and all the rest of it. It's like sliding into a hot bathtub. No? And that's where the life purpose starts shining. And sacrifice is a heroic action in order to manipulate God to like you more. That doesn't work. Yeah? God, life, existence, unconditional love does not ask for sacrifice. That's a human idea. Surrender, however, is giving up the resistance of the ego, and therefore that is a spiritual reality, not a human idea. So I hope you can see the two are different and to make your choices now. Can purpose change? Oh, good. Yeah. Can purpose change in one lifetime? Well, I'm the type of guy who never would say it's not possible. So by default, everything is always possible. Likely? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, possibly yes, likely maybe not. Because usually this world demands so much healing that we are hardly can expect to get complete with our life purpose in this lifetime. Remember, it's the life purpose is not for your own sake only. It is for the sake of the whole. It is for the sake of the principle. If you are wounded in injustice, then you to engage in healing injustice, not in yourself only, but also in the world. And I think you're going to be busy probably beyond your lifetime. And that accounts as well for all the other aspects. So from the greatest wound life purpose perspective, probably you're not going to be done in this lifetime. And otherwise, it would just be a curiosity question. Why is it important? I mean, if it's really complete, and if God sends you on a different mission, you will know. No, you will know when the time has come. Until then, it's maybe not even relevant to ask the question. So, okay, last question to be selected right here. Great, let me see which one we take. Do you think, do you think we should be radical with everything that we are doing, which feel has a real purpose right now? Or is it good to stay safe for a while? Yeah. Remember I talked about the three instincts? Well, your instinct was writing that question. Instinct one, survival. So it did its job because instincts are there to protect the host, which is us. So yes, stay safe. However, the question is, do you want to make your life about safety? So I hope you can feel that there is not a motivation from my side to say, okay, don't think about safety. I'm not saying that. But if it's only safety, then you probably will not experience contentment and fulfillment. And at the end of the day, when on the tombstone is written "safe did," I don't think that you want that. So why not trying to, on the one side, really be completely loyal to your purpose and take the risks that come with living boldly and authentically your life purpose? It's always a risky path, always. But it does not need to be a stupid path when it comes to risk. But on the other hand, if the test comes, yeah, if you are about to be tested to take the bullet, you may need to revisit that question again. Remember the Abraham test? Abraham was asked by God to sacrifice his son Isaac, and just before he was willing to do it, God said, "No, it's fine. I saw that you are serious." Just a short version of the story. But that test, yeah, that is where we are showing which we are made of really. Okay, so I think it's time to hand over to Natalie in a moment. Another question. Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh, I think it's okay. So don't want to waste more time in reading and screening the questions. And I also heard from Natalie that we should move on. So moving on into what? Well, now it's time to also just refer to how we are supporting the life. The purpose of my life is to express myself so that people can find the way back home. Remember, as I shared. So that's my contribution to this world in this lifetime of mine. And the word creative consciousness and all that, what you maybe are aware of, have experience as a graduate, if you have done the programs. And if you haven't done the programs, then this is the expression of my life purpose. And Master One is our 4-day breakthrough entry program, where we make the biggest difference with regard to waking up. That's why it's called a new state of consciousness. And that also is powerfully supporting people to get rid of the smoke, the conditioning that keeps them awake, to feeling themselves, to centering their energy, to get reconnected to the heart, and to get out of the head, the box, out of the box, and suddenly standing in the free sun again and saying, my God, I haven't been here for a long time. This is great. I know this feels, that's me. And that is what we are doing in Master One, among many other things. So I'm handing over now to Natalie. She will tell you more about that and the logistics, etc., etc. I hope you had fun. I hope you're taking a lot of value away from that. And if you have any further questions, connect with me on Facebook or drop me an email. Or I hope I can see you one day again in one of our trainings. So thank you, enjoy your weekend, and step into your life purpose. This is the only way to live. Thank you.